Testing, testing. Good day. Happy Talk It Up Tuesday. I almost said Tech Talk Tuesday. Good Tuesday, everybody. Hello, Imani. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing good. I'm doing great. Trying to share this live video. Can't figure out how to do it. It's a rough day. I don't know why I can't figure out how to share this video.
It's a holiday week. You know how those holiday weeks are.
Man, how
So
you how you doing?
I'm feeling all right. I just got back from my travels, back from Hawaii. Had an amazing time out there.
Gotta give us the
Um,
highlights.
Highlights. Let's see. What would be my highlights? Just being able to be in the ocean and lay on the beach all day. I did that 2 days in a row. I don't normally do that. But that was just nice to be able to take that in. The weather's always good, like appreciating the sunset, all the natural stuff about it. The people are so pleasant. So it was bomb. We found a rooftop club type bar type thing that we went to, but they shut down at like 11:30 to get everybody out by 12.
Oh no.
But it was fun. It was good for the 2 hours that we were able to enjoy it.
Yeah, that sounds like a vibe.
Yeah, so let's see here. Welcome, audience. Thank you for tuning in. Carmen is checking in. Hey, Carmen, welcome to the
What's
show.
up?
All right, so we can be heard and we can be seen. Should we dive into the topic for today?
Let's do it. Let's do it. I'm ready for this conversation.
Yeah, I was feeling kind of like, okay, I don't know what to talk about today. Let me see what Amani got on her mind and what's going on. And you came up with the idea of talking about um, visioning for 2023 and just like that preparation phase. And I'm just like, oh, I can get with that because my mind is there and kind of reflecting on this year and preparing for next year. But since you were the inspiration for today's topic, tell me what you've been up to. Kind of like what brought that up for you.
So for me, I didn't do much planning for 2022, and obviously because I'm in a whole different state with not having that as a plan going into 2022. So I kind of was flexible this year and went and rolled with the punches and kind of let things fall into place. But I'm really looking forward to spending the entire month of December planning planning for 2023. You know what I'm saying? Like really mapping out what does each quarter look like and breaking it down and getting a vision because I realize how valuable it is to have a plan and like just kind of know and have some direction for your life. And just as much as I prioritize daily routines and having a plan, for our day to day, even month to month, like I think that applies for everything in life. Like when you have some sort of idea of what you want to happen, a lot of those things are they feel a little bit more in reach. And so with that reality, like even like I started planning for December, I'll show you my planner, and I want to do the same thing for the whole month. Like as soon as I get my planner for 2023 is over, like I don't want to show y'all all my business, but like I'm gonna just flash it a little bit. So,
Did you put all that stuff on there?
huh?
Are those stickers and stuff on there, or
Mhm.
that's the color?
Yeah,
Oh,
stickers.
you in it. Nice.
Don't y'all don't be looking too deep into the words over here because I got plans. I got stuff I'm working on that ain't everybody business. But I literally mapped out like everything, and I want to be able to organize. because I feel like this is a version of vision boarding, envisioning. Like, well, how do you envision your month going? How do you envision the next year going for you? And so I literally just said before I told you about this topic, I said a couple of days ago, I was like, I feel like my calendar is my vision board. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I feel like my planner is my vision board to visualize what I want, how I want things to go. And like, if I have it physically out here laid out like this, I'm super excited to like do these things. And like from big goals to like people I want to network with, meetings I want to have, to like also, okay, on this day, on Friday the 9th, I want to go to happy hour with my mom. You know what I'm saying? Down to like, okay, I'm gonna make sure I budget on Sunday. I want to make sure I go to the grocery store on Monday. I want to go to a concert on the 13th. You know what I'm saying? Like really, because a lot of the times, year after year, month after month, I put stuff on my calendar and I'm like, I mean, I don't put stuff on my calendar, but in my head, I'm like, I want to go to this concert or I want to go, get my hair done, but
Right.
I don't plan for it. But now that I have a plan for next month, I can say, okay, this is how much I need to put aside to be able to get my hair done. This is how much I need to make in order to be able to do these things that I have on my list. And so I really just believe in thinking about our vision, not just for our businesses, but for our life. Like, what is the vision for our life? And like, how can we contribute to us like reaching those goals?
Nice. Nice. Yeah, you had something must have sparked you because you already like preloading for 2023. You got
Mhm.
much further than I did. I didn't get that far just yet. So for anybody who's just tuning in, we have some people watching in today. We're just talking about planning and having vision for what you want for your life, not just your business, but what you want for your life. And Amani was just kind of sharing, since that's the topic today, like what sparked her or what ignited her. So we've been just talking about that, and we want to know from you as well. Where are you? What phase are you in? Like, are you? I'm in a reflective type mode where I'm starting to think about 2023, and I'm always thinking about things that I want to do in 2023, but I haven't started officially planning yet. But I like the part where you said, like, you have things you want to do, but did you set the vision and the vision for it so that you can then set the intention and start putting the extra steps behind it? So
Right.
I feel like I'm kind of getting to that point, like I've experienced things this year that I'm just like, okay, I want more of that next year, or I'm gonna be more intentional about that next year. Um, but I haven't sat down and done like the vision board type part or coming up with the visuals to kind of help me see that type thing. So for anyone in the audience, let us know, where are you in your planning process for 2023? What's your process? Have you started vision boarding? Do you do vision boards, or do you have something else you might be able to share with the audience, and those of us watching about that? Um, I would say that I was just, because of taxes, I had to go and get myself all set up and working with a new tax accountant here in Arizona. I looked at my revenue for the year and I was just like, ooh, I didn't know I did that.
Mm.
I didn't know that I hit a six-figure number this year.
Wow, congratulations.
Yeah, thank you, thank you. It's kind of, it's weird because it's like I've said it before, and like I've put some things in place to kind of make that happen, but I feel like at some point I stopped tracking it and I just kind of got into the work. But then I'm just like, okay, well, if you can do that with what you did this year, what do I want to multiply that for next year? Do I want
Mhm.
an exit? Do I want to whatever? But then that goes back to what you're saying. What's the vision for the life that you want? You
For
know?
sure, for sure. I think something I'm also thinking about, a goal of mine for December, is to consolidate my ideas and all the things that I'm working on.
Mhm.
Because I feel like I'm working on so many different projects and so many different things, which I set myself up for. But I want clarity in 2023. Like, in order
Yeah.
for me to have that, I have to have an idea of how I want to like make all of my projects align. And
Yes.
my
Yeah.
mom gave me some really good advice today because I was like kind of down on myself about like I was like, since a kid I've always been into a million different um just activities. I love art, I love skateboarding, I love this, I love basketball, then volleyball, and then I just wanted to do all the things. And as an
Mhm.
adult, I can't get rid of that creative, you know, part of me that wants to do it all. And
Right.
so but my mom gave me good advice about like when we were younger and she owned Teachable Moments Child Care Center. She wished that she would have kept that name and kept everything under that foundation of what she created with Teachable Moments, because that's such a strong name, such a strong
It
business.
is.
And so I loved what she said about like now I can learn from her. You know what I'm saying? How do I stay consistent with my branding with Natural E and still do all the things? You know what I'm saying? Like find ways
Right.
to make things correlate so that I don't lose sight of my foundation. And that's the business that really got me, to where I am today. And so I'm struggling a little bit, but I want to have that figured out before January 1st, 2023, because I can't
Yeah.
go into another year with that level of scatterbrain trying to figure out how everything aligns.
Yeah, and you bring up a good point, and you making me think about like I've been struggling with this for forever too. So I thought like I would get to this point and it would go away, and that I would just kind of settle upon something. But then I just realized like I'm just not wired that way.
Mhm.
And what I ended up doing was figuring out like, okay, what's the common denominator between all these things? And like the
Mm.
common denominator is me. So it's
Mhm.
like, do I really want to kind of close these things off and just be one thing? Or do I want to kind of find a way? Because I kind of feel like it's more of an internal struggle than it is externally for other people.
Absolutely.
Um, yeah, I feel like I think I'm kind of creating this problem in a way more than other people really see. People just see you do stuff and they're like, oh, that's dope. I like that you do that. And that's cool, but I was struggling with different people knowing me for different things. Some people I met just through creative work that I was doing in the fashion industry. Some
Mhm.
people I worked because they hired me as a graphic designer. Other people I know because they did me worked with me as a consultant in something that's in public health. So it's like I felt like I had all these different identities, and I just wanted to be one of them. But now, with the ability to have multiple platforms, I'm kind of like, oh, I can be who I want to be where I want to be it. And
Mhm.
I don't necessarily have to like cut things off, but I can kind of pick and choose where I want to deliver and share what type of content on different places and serve those different audiences. So I don't have an answer to say, oh, this is the way to do it, but I know
Yeah.
that feeling that you have about that. But I do think that there is like that common denominator that you can find. And like for me, the way that I create and what I like to create fits in all those different things. So I was okay with accepting that as the common denominator and not having to have other people understand it.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. And I think as creatives, it's it's unacceptable. Like you feel like what word am I trying to use? As creatives, like we just naturally want to do a lot of things. We naturally enjoy many different things. And this conversation is confirmation for me to like be okay with allowing the creativity to flow. But I've been watching Erin on Demand a lot on YouTube, and she's super dope.
She's good.
And
Yeah.
she really talked a lot about your like basically in my words, like your it factor. Like you're gonna roll into that thing where you're like, okay, yep, this is the thing I want to do for the rest of my life.
Right.
This is what I want to focus my energy and time with. And not to say you won't always have a passion for all those other things that are that you do, but I think at some like because when for me it was my clothing brand. When I started Naturally, I was like, oh, I could do this forever. During the pandemic, when I got like 70 plus orders of my jogging suits and my entire studio apartment was full of bags, like I was like, I could do this for the rest of my life because it was working
Mhm.
and I was making the revenue. And so at this, and then when I had my store and I was able to revenue $10,000 in 1 month in 30
Right.
days in a pop-up shop. I was like, oh, I could do this for the rest of my life. But we got to talk about those moments where we're not generating that level of income and we start to lose the excitement for what it is that we're doing, because
Right.
now our passion and our creativity is not being funded the way we would like it to sustain the lifestyle that we want to live. Like even if you're comfortable just living a basic lifestyle, like you're having your passion pay for that lifestyle is not an easy thing.
Right.
So
There's
I
an
think
exchange.
yeah, it really is. It really is. And I think I want to hear more conversations about how to get there. You know what I'm saying? Like how to, like, it's not about working harder, like grinding. That's what
No, it's
something
not.
I also learned. That's what I learned from Aaron. Like year after year, I'm like, okay, I gotta grind, I gotta grind, I gotta go harder, I gotta work harder. And I realized that it's really not about working harder as much as it's a cliche, but it's really about working smarter, like figuring out. Like I was listening to a call the other night with some of the great directors in Planet, and they were saying he was saying like the difference between the rich and the poor, and how the rich have figured out how to package their value in a way that really gives people, you know, makes people want to invest in them, and they continue to make money and continue to make money. And they talked about the poor are afraid to promote who they are, promote what they're doing, and they're afraid to sell. And you know what I'm saying? And I think the whole way they broke that down and explained it yesterday was something I needed to hear, because I'm like, okay, that is like I have to package my value in a way where I can live the life I want based on my
Right.
skills. You know, my skills will pay for my lifestyle. Like that's the
Right.
goal. That's the goal. And the journey there is the hard part. So
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, that's some good points right there. And that journey is like is the hardest part of it. But the fact that you know that and that there is another side of it is don't lose sight of the fact that you can get through it, because sometimes we be like, I just can't figure this out, and then we get turned off from it
mhm.
and give up too soon. I'm gonna read a couple of the comments that showed up here. So Carmen said the strategy is to keep your core brand with the flexibility to evolve. Yes, I can agree with that. When you keep creating and starting from scratch, you reduce your momentum and longevity. Yeah, that's a very valid point. Um, I learned that lesson because when I with We Merge Media, I had to do that. As I kept on changing and evolving, I kept coming up with all this different stuff. I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna keep it all up under here. And that also though contributed to the power, I think, of personal branding, because I'm always gonna be who my name.
Mhm.
So like I like personal branding for that reason too, because then I don't have to necessarily change. I kind of treat the core as me, Michael Demond, but then the different um, ways that I break off are like products of.
Mhm.
So, I feel like if you were just branding yourself personally and not necessarily to a specific company name, then you always have that flexibility to kind of put those properties where they need to be, those assets where they need to be at when you need them.
I agree. I agree. That's a great point, and I think that's something I struggled with
Mhm.
because I started with Naturally Beautiful, and that limited me right away, the name. You know what I'm saying? And so
Right.
then I rebranded to just Natural E, and that fits so perfectly. And that's not my personal brand, but it connects to my personal brand so seamlessly. Like when
Mhm.
people see me, they see Natural E. When they see Natural E, they see me. You know what I'm saying? So they come together in such a like concise way, which is why I wanted to do the rebrand. And so
Mhm.
now it's like I can put all these other things under Natural E or under my personal brand where I see fit. They not as cohesive as yours, which I wish I would have started that way. Like even though Natural E came out of my personal brand, like the
Right.
audience and the following that I had kind of supported me because they supported who I am as a person.
It
But
comes down to the person, right?
exactly. People don't buy products, they buy people. You know what I'm saying? That
Yeah.
quote like really resonates with me a lot of times because I wouldn't have elevated my brand to the level I did without that level of personal support I got from my audience. So I definitely think like so with the podcast, so now I have like that podcast under Natural E, but like my content creation, all of that stuff is under my personal brand, like what I do because it's me showing up as who I am.
Right.
And like there's content coach and things like that. I'm like really trying to find out how do I make all of this come together and then be well, like really trying to take support my mom and taking that company to the next level. It's like how do I make all these things fit? Because I came here for a fresh start and I want to not have everything all over the place. Uh,
Mhm.
but at the same time, like I'm excited to do all these things, but how do I? Because when I'm introducing myself to somebody and they like, what do you do? I'm like, run a magazine, you know, for my mom, and I got a clothing retail brand, and also content coach, and I also got a podcast,
Mhm.
and I got this. So it really, really. it's time for me to kind of wrap all that up into one thing in a way where I can explain it and have an elevator pitch that makes sense and not confusing, but like, oh,
Yeah.
doing dope stuff under one umbrella, you know? So, yeah.
Yeah, we should definitely continue that conversation because I work with a lot of people who have that same challenge, and like I think having that dialogue to figure out like what's the root, the underlining thing through all that, and kind of building your tagline or your elevator pitch around that becomes real helpful. Like I was playing around with a couple of them. I was using like one of those. Michaela and I we were doing the dad and daughter duo digital marketing. I
Mhm.
was I was using the video podcast coach. So like I've been kind of testing different things out to kind of see what works.
Mhm.
And I feel like I probably still haven't settled upon one. So I just go resort back to my name. But I feel more comfortable resorting back to my name, like Michael Demond,
Mhm.
and having the brand associations than I do necessarily by always just being We Merge Media. I don't know. I think we should definitely continue the conversation and get some insight from people who are listening here in the audience to see what they think, because I know tons of people who go through this
Yeah,
kind
yeah,
of conversation.
we got some dope people in the audience. I definitely want to have a whole conversation dedicated to that topic because I think not even just entrepreneurs, but creatives and people in similar industries struggle with like, how do I? Because the only reason we're trying to consolidate is for how we come across to other people.
The other people, right?
And like you said in the beginning, sometimes it doesn't even look as chaotic to other people. Like
Right.
if I probably asked on Facebook right now, how do I come across? They probably wouldn't have the same perspective that I do, the way that I do. They may feel like I'm all over the place and doing a bunch of things, but that's not necessarily a negative thing to them. You know what I'm saying? To them,
Right.
like, oh, I want to support all these different things that she's doing. But sometimes, like I said, like people say, we're our biggest critics, and I think I overthink it, but I don't think I'm in the wrong track of thinking, how do I bring this together for my comfort? Because it's also uncomfortable for me to figure out how to introduce myself in a
Be
way that,
fumbling over the words. Yeah. So I
but
see. I
that just mean we dope. That just mean we do a lot. Like we do a lot of dope stuff.
I think that's why so many people just started using creative and creator too, just so they can just sum all that stuff up.
It's the
Uh,
umbrella.
I see. I know the tagline. The world is watching, so I know that's Devon D. He's
Yep,
here. He
yep.
said, "I would love to be in that conversation. We would love to have you in that conversation and talk about it. I don't know if you're trying to do it from your vacation right now. Let me know. I'll inbox the StreamYard link, and you can
Right,
jump
we'll
on
pull
if you
you up.
want. We'll put you on here. Let us know. Um, but yeah, that would be good because I think so many people have that challenge and that struggle. Let's see here. It could be a dangerous line, though, depending on the brand. Okay, because he's talking about just kind of like finding that right place to kind of pull that message from. It's always tough. Oh, he back. Okay, let me send you the link, and if you want to join, hop on up. I see Christopher Copeland also said he has a lot to say on this topic too, so we can do a little group conversation. Let
Yeah,
me
let's
inbox.
do
Let me
it.
go ahead and I'm gonna put this link here. Hopefully, it comes through to y'all. I'm gonna inbox you, do on. So wherever y'all watching, y'all might see a link down below. That's the StreamYard link. Hop on. Let me inbox here.
Oops, I didn't mean to do that.
You know Christopher personally?
Yeah, well, he's the one who I asked earlier who wants to promote their business on
Okay.
Talk It Up Tuesday, and he shared some dope stuff with me. So if he could come in and talk about it himself, that'd be even better.
Okay. Cool. Devon's gonna jump in. Awesome. Let me just take a look. Did we miss anybody here? Carmen was saying,
Oops,
"Oh, are
sorry.
you? Oh, that's okay. I forgot we both got it."
I don't know how to do this back end thing, and I'm trying to copy. I'm accidentally clicking on it. And I'm trying to copy and paste it.
No, you good. All right. So Carmen, yeah, Carmen and I had this conversation so many times. She said, "Michael, you're the core. Michael helped me so much to gain clarity on my brand. I'm clear. Yeah. Oh, yours fits so smoothly, Carmen, too. The master connector just sums up everything
Yeah.
so well across what you do. It don't even matter what product and what brand it is either. It worked out so well for you.
Are you able to send me the link? Because I can't copy and paste it. I can't figure out how to copy and paste. Oh, it's the same link you sent me already, right? The one you texted me.
Yeah. Do you
Okay.
have the invite option at the bottom? You can use that too.
Oh, okay. I'm learning, y'all. This tech thing, yeah.
So I will wait to see if we get some audience guests here. We were talking just about, for anybody who tuned in late, we're talking about setting visions and plans for 2023 and kind of like what our process is for that, what we have in mind. Imani said she was doing a digital vision board right beforehand. So she says, that's kind of one way that she's setting up the vision. I've started doing some kind of reflecting. So I'll kind of reflect on what I liked about the year and what's some stuff I want to change for the upcoming year. Haven't necessarily done vision boarding before. I know a lot of people do that. But I'll make a list. That's what I tend to do. Like I like making like organizational charts and kind of put my ideas down that way. But I visualize things, but I never actually did the actual vision board. I'm gonna have to
Really?
try that.
That's shocking.
Never.
That's shocking. When you said you hadn't done that, I thought you were referring to the digital, but you haven't done any vision board at all.
Only like in elementary school types, and they have you do it then with the magazines. That's about it.
Wow. Yeah. I'm a huge fan of vision board parties and stuff like that. I think like I got my vision board up in my bathroom right now, and I was looking at it this morning, and I was just like, wow, I haven't necessarily accomplished all the things that's on there, but I can see it. Like I because I look at it every morning now. I'm like, okay, yeah, that's coming soon, or I'm working towards that. Let me be more intentional about.
Right.
Let me be more intentional about that. And I think I believe in monthly visualization, like not just creating a vision board at the top of the year and leaving it and then looking back at it again years later. But like I said, my planner is my vision board. So I want to continue with that mindset throughout the year. Like how can I map out my life the way I want it to look on a monthly basis and use my planner to do that with stickers. And everybody don't operate like that. Some people don't like crafty stuff. So I like what Kayla said in the comments about making lists. Like everybody kind of operate different. I think any form of putting it out there in the atmosphere and writing out the vision, I really strongly encourage that.
You know what I do, and I'm not when you mentioned like you think every month somebody should have do like a vision session.
Mm-hmm.
It reminded me of what I do. I'm more into like immersive experiences. So the stuff that I envision, I go test drive it or walk through it or like one of the things that I had on my mind was like the house, getting a different house. So like I was going and doing all these open houses and touring and all that other stuff and feeling what it's like. That worked a lot for me when it comes to the cars. Going to test drive the car, even though I'm not ready to buy the car, I'm not ready to put no money down on it or any of that stuff. Like, let me go even drive this car, see what this car feel like, and I'll do my visioning stuff there.
But imagine taking that to a step further. Because me, like the car I have right now in Milwaukee, I test drove it for years before I got it. You know what I'm saying? It's not a fancy car, y'all. I'm not that like high maintenance. But I've test drove that a million times. But I also like right now I have. Oh, y'all gonna be in my business again. But so I have like a vision board on my phone screensaver. Like
nice.
It's a picture of me, like a picture of a lady relaxing, a picture of wealth, and a car that I really like. Because I want to be able to see that every day. But I also strongly believe, like the space I told you I went to go look at today. Like I know I'm in nowhere near a position to get the space, but when I see it, it just feels so much better. So I came home and did that digital vision board and putting that picture on there. Like now I'm like, okay, like let's work towards it. Let's make it great. But I love what you're saying because I agree. I totally am that person that go, test drive or do what I got to do to make it feel real and make it seem possible.
Right. We got a couple people popped up on us. Terrence, you there? Christopher, welcome to the studio.
How you doing? I didn't think I was gonna be talking today. I'm trying to get my little lighting and everything right over here.
We glad to have you.
Yeah, you stepped up and volunteered.
Yeah, she had asked me earlier, but I was like, no, I'm gonna sit back and not say too much. But these be my topics. I love the self growth and self awareness, just development and goals, and I love all of the conversation, all of the above. It's all of the above for me. And this the fuel. This the fuel to me. Where I mean, I can do this for hours. You know what I'm saying? We ain't gonna do that tonight, but I can talk for hours about being self-aware, setting yourself with goals, the peers, the people that you hang with, how you present yourself, communication, everything is just all of it play a big part in like your daily routines, even my morning rituals. Like one of the things, so I'm part of the winter circle with my guys, and we have conversations like this. And one of the main things that people forget, but will help you with your daily routine, is just make your bed before you leave the house. A lot of people don't make their bed before they leave the house, and that is like such a relief. Like every time I walk in, I don't care how my day went. When I come in and I see my bed is made perfectly, it was like, for one, it played two parts. That reason I just said it, and for two, you already completed one task.
Right.
So it sets the momentum for the rest of the day. So just merely making I don't care how fast you got to go out this morning. I don't care what kind of day what morning you having. You make that bed. That's one task down. It's so simple, and it sets the momentum for the rest of the day. I did that. I got that out. Now we on to the next. So I don't know what really the topics was, because I can be all over the place and my conversation is long, but I definitely stick with that one. Just trying to make sure that I keep up with trying to build good habits. Reading, I ain't gonna lie, I've been neglecting my reading this month, so I'm gonna get back at it. But definitely reading books has been my biggest one. I read more books in my adult life than I have in school. I'm more self-taught and self-educated more than ever, because I understand the key to being like, how can I say, happy, just success. And when somebody's telling you to do it and you don't see the real benefit behind it, it'd be kind of hard. But if you read a little bit more, study a little bit more, your business, your brand could 10x this month, you know what I mean, or this week, just by this new strategy. I got to figure it out. Being around people doing things like this definitely to help with the conversation. Yeah, Vibrant Bonus right there. Definitely one.
Yeah, we didn't introduce you, so you have to tell us about
So Vibrant
your
Bonus
brand.
is, yeah, so it's not personally my brand, it's Kayla's brand, but I definitely make a recommendation, because right now what we're doing is we're trying to build it up, pretty much get it out there, exposure, things like this. Just being proactive with networking and talking with people. But definitely she has multiple hair products. Basically, she's got a good track record. This right here, me knowing where the startup was at, this is like I think this is like year 5 or 6 now. She even got to provide hair for a popular rap artist, Gloria, and she even got so much attention to get it to her. You get what I'm saying? So she definitely got some Black Friday deals coming up. She has deals that are going on monthly as well. You got to go to the website, the Vibrant Beauties, and she's definitely gonna be able to provide everybody with the need for hair extensions. And it is same day if she has it on hand. I know that's one of the big things that people worry about. You don't have to go through the website to get your product. Like I said, follow the page, inbox, make your order. It could be there same day, definitely for last minute orders and all of that. But yeah, definitely, like I said, when it comes down to just business in general, I love talking about it, because everybody here can give a golden nugget that can change somebody's life. You know what I mean? Like it could be the smallest thing. Like I said, that making the bed thing, that kind of like changed a lot for me, because it was like a task that I knocked down. I come home, no matter how my day was, I'm proud of myself that I got that out the way. So you need them good vibes, things that's gonna help you condition your positive thinking, especially of yourself being capable of doing so much. I used to classify myself as a person that was, I used to say I was a mess up. You know what I mean? I was the D student. I was the person that didn't follow proper. Man, me growing up now, seeing what I'm capable of accomplishing, flipping and fixing properties, fixing my own credit, all of that type of stuff. It's just like little old me. You know what I'm saying? Like little old me was able to accomplish, and I really didn't get the insight until people started applauding me, or like, "Oh, bro, look at you did that." I'm like, I did do that. You know what I'm saying? Like I did do them things. So if I feel like I can do it, anybody else can do it, because I'm regular. You know what I'm saying? Like even like I said, the big credit, like having good credit was a big thing for me, because it was rare for me to see people and hear people got good credit. And I would tell people I had an 812. They was like, "What?" I thought only millionaires, and I was like, I just studied. I just studied it. I let it on myself. You know what I'm saying? So now I start to get myself in a circle. And for a while, I had an ego boost, like, yeah, Mr. 800 type stuff. But then when I started getting around people that got it, it's like you start to set a new standard for yourself. And that's what I try to tell a lot of people is to make new standards for yourself. This is what I need to make this month. This is how many people I need to communicate with this month. This is how many times I need to go get rejected this month. When you start setting new standards for yourself, you become a normal and you start to elevate.
Right.
It doesn't feel like big. So definitely the new standard, especially the biggest standard is, what is your new standard for your minimum in your bank account? What is your new minimum? Because a lot of people minimum is 0. You know what I mean? Like as long as it ain't in the negative, they fine. You see what I'm saying? So definitely you got to set standards for yourself to elevate more and more and get around people that think like this. I was watching y'all. I've been watching y'all. Like, oh yeah, they here with it. You know what I mean? Y'all building businesses and brands. So definitely.
Thank you so much for sharing it. It looks like we got another guest. The world is watching.
I went to one of his things too. Like it was out of water me. It was
Yeah,
beautiful.
full circle.
Man.
I gotta check to see he's not able to hear us. Let's see.
Oh, okay, can't hear us.
I wonder if we can hear him. Okay, we'll have to see if he can figure that out. Okay, he's gonna get his laptop. Cool. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Cool.
Oh, Terrence is in the studio. You want to bring him up?
Give him a second. Let's see what he got to say.
Can you hear me?
We can. What's up, Dad?
We can hear you.
Hey, how y'all doing? For me, it's an accomplishment just getting here. I mean, I was listening to y'all. I thought I was on and I was chatting like I'd never chatted before, and y'all weren't even getting the chats. I'm like, why Mike ain't reading mine? but again, just being able to maneuver and not letting this stuff intimidate me like it had been is an accomplishment for me. And so each time I do something, again, it's an accomplishment, and I'm proud of myself, and I just add it to the list to keep going. And on a personal note, it's refreshing for me to listen to all the young people on here just doing it, and they give me energy, particularly Monty. So I'm just glad to be finally on here listening to y'all.
Appreciate
I'm
it.
glad you joined it.
Thanks for tuning in.
I wanted to speak to one thing you said, and you talked about just like incremental progress. Like all those little steps we sometimes discount and we don't think that they have much value, but they make all the difference in the world. Like there's nothing that natural in this world that don't start, small and kind of grow into something new. So, I mean, I think that's definitely worth applauding. Not giving up is the key.
Yeah. You early on when I was listening on YouTube, and I chatted, and I wrote in the chat that for me, heading into the end of 2022, and so that I can start 2023 fresh and just completely with a blank slate is, Mike, I've been talking to you for a long time about finally having a brain dump. And I had a chance to have an amazing meeting today with a young lady. I think her company is called True Vision. And we chatted, and she listened actively. And I know she was listening, and to be able to finally connect with somebody and talk where they were actively and actively listening and interested, made that journey worthwhile. And now we're on the path to finally getting this stuff written down on paper and organized. And I don't know if it's going to be on paper or in some kind of file or whatever, but that was a major accomplishment for me today.
That's
and
cool.
So I want to get into the new year fresh, basically.
Right. That's good.
Agreed. So what we looking like for time, Mike?
We are, let's see, where are we? We're at 39 minutes now. We typically do about 30. I was going to get some time for Devon D to join back
Okay.
in. He was going to grab his laptop because I would love to hear
Yes,
um,
for sure. For
his
sure.
contribution.
Sounds good. Sounds good. I'm looking forward to his addition to the conversation because I've been seeing his journey for years as an entrepreneur, and this would be dope to see his just hear his input on what we talked about because I feel like we discussed the whole visioning piece and then just balancing all the different projects. And I think he's definitely one who has had many different dope projects in his entrepreneurship journey. So I'm really excited to hear what he has to say.
Yeah. So for anyone who's tuning in, this is Talk It Up Tuesday. Every Tuesday we go live just to talk about what's going on in our lives as entrepreneurs. Topics change based on how we feel, based on what comes up, based on things that the audience wants to share. Today we're talking about preparing for 2023 and kind of what that looks like. We've been talking about reflecting on this past year, kind of seeing what we want to bring into the new year. Imani was talking about just visioning. We had some guests who come on and talked about just kind of having an idea and having some intention behind what you want to do, and all those things kind of make a difference. So, Imani, you're real good at asking the audience these questions. Like, what's something we can ask them to kind of find out, like, what are they doing for the new year or for 2023, or what
Yeah.
do we want to know? What do we want to know?
I want to know a lot. Like I literally have a list of at least probably 100 questions that pop
Mhm.
up in my head throughout the day, and those questions that y'all see on my Facebook, like I have so many questions in my head, and I'll be wanting to ask y'all all of them. But I had to calm down because I get so excited about engaging in conversation with the folks on my Facebook that I started to write them down. And so like some of the things that I have been writing down that has had me a deep thought were more so those questions about like if we weren't afraid, what would we do? Like if we had the time or we took the time to plan out what 2023 looks like for us in a way that
Mhm.
doesn't put any limits on us, like what would we do? You know, without the
Mhm.
fear of failing, without the fear of what might may not go right, with this idea of like what if it goes great and like take all of just take the time to dream limitlessly. I want to ask about that. You know what I'm saying? I want to
Right.
ask about what does 2023 look like with no limits. So and have a million other questions too that I would love to ask. But I think that's more so in alignment with the topic that we're talking about right now,
Okay.
and how we can
So
just dream big.
I'm gonna put that up here. There we go. I see I'm in the studio now.
Hey, hey.
The world is watching.
There we go. There we go. Welcome to the show. How you doing?
I'm well. How are you guys?
Pretty good. Pretty good. This is our first time actually speaking live, even though we're virtual.
Absolutely.
A lot of comments, live stream comments, inboxing, but we've never talked face to face on
For
video.
real. It's a pleasure.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
thanks for joining us. So we were just starting to talk a little bit about what people's plans, their ideal vision for 2023, and not if you don't have any limits, you don't have any fear in the way what that looks like. And then earlier today, we are just talking about Imani was expressing some challenge around kind of finding her common denominator about how you show up to other people. You know, do your personal brand, do you build a brand around a business name, and you've chimed in on that. So I'm
Yeah.
sure you got some experience and some tips for us. We'd love to hear from you.
Please introduce yourself first because
Oh
the
yeah,
world is watching and they need to know who you are.
I am Devon D, a serial entrepreneur. I've been an entrepreneur for over 25 years. Actually, 1994 is the year I started. I think I was about 15 years old, and I never looked back. A lot of ups and downs, as entrepreneurship will take you through. A lot of things I learned a lot along the way on so many levels, and even on a high level, and just kind of seeing how things work on that level, and then also trying to bring that back to beginning and even struggling entrepreneurs, because again, a lot of times it's a lot of humps that we try to get over, but we don't know how. Um, so my career has been, just traveling the world, um, sitting up under gurus, even having, even if I had to be the driver, if I had to hold the bags or carry the crates, whatever I had to do to get the knowledge and experience, because the skills and the information, um, the proper information could take, take any entrepreneur, if they, they got, if they can put, the strategy together, it could take them far. So when I was hearing the some of the talk, and we were talking about branding, and Imani, I think you actually hit on it after I had commented, but you were right. Sometimes it is depending on who we talking to, what we say, because again, sometimes we don't want to feel like we all over the place, but we can't be afraid of that. Rick Ross ain't afraid to say I own 52 wing stops, and I own this and that. Bill, all the rich people own multiple companies. We can't be afraid of that. It's only sometimes, and it's just hard to say, sometimes in our community or sometimes on this level, that where people will start looking at like what you do and kind of trying to judge it.
Right.
But as I say, man, I like to eat. I like to eat a lot. So again, if I like to eat a lot, I like to keep a lot on my plate. So that's why I have so many companies. 17 tax offices, like I said, career marketing and multimedia company. And started off in the music industry, $1.2 million recording studios, engineering for country rock, death metal. As a professional audio engineer and producer, being able to sit up under guys who went to some of the most premier colleges for marketing in the world, and I was able to sit under free education, sitting at Kohl's Corporation, sitting at Harley Davidson and Miller and Walgreens and Stacey Adams, and I was doing this in my 20s. And all the skills that, again, sometimes in our journey, we don't know, all the skills that we acquire, how they're going to, how we're going to end up using them later. And whether you have a job, I always say, always understand that you just, even if you have a job, there's a system that your job is running under. And if you're an entrepreneur, there's even stuff at your job that you can pick up and learn to be able to take into your entrepreneurship. Now, a lot of times we get entrepreneurship and business mixed up. You know what I mean? Entrepreneurship sounds more like help me. But we got to understand is when we in entrepreneurship, we're in business. And sometimes when we exalt the friends and family, we be like, oh, no one's supporting us. But what does a business does? A business has to market itself for people to want it. You know what I mean? And sometimes we lose sight of that, thinking that nobody supports us, but we ain't putting our product or our brand out there in a way that people want to call you for it. You know what I mean? So sometimes it's in some of the entrepreneurs proactive. There's nobody but have you. What are you doing? Right. Have you changed up your marketing? You change up your colors? What is it that's not working? Yeah, put up a flyer. Yeah, that flyer might not work. It might have been the colors or the positioning. It might be how things, and we might not be like, well, all the information there. Again, this is a science. Marketing is science, from the colors to the positionings to the pictures. Again, none of this is by accident or someone just thought it was cute in the corner. We have to understand when we marketing our brands, we have to take that same science to the industry. And understanding that, yes, proper location, proper coloring, proper timing, things of that nature is what can take a brand. And now, like I say, sometimes we scared to say we own all these companies, sometimes because we know we got to treat each and every one of those companies as an individual business. And sometimes that sounds a little bit overwhelming, but you're going to have to do the same thing, even if you use it as a personal brand and you got all these products. You still got to do the same work.
The underlying work don't change. It's just the clothes for the day. That's a good point.
So
yeah.
So we can't be afraid to say, you know what, I got this company, I got that company. Yep, I got this company and it's named that. Yeah, you know what I mean? Because really what makes all those companies work is the system. And what they should be asking is how can you run all these companies? And I can show you how all these companies can run because it's a proper system. And when we say system, again, systems is an acronym for save yourself time, energy, and money.
You didn't give me no time to write that down. Hold
on. You're preaching, my brother.
System is an acronym. Save yourself time, energy, and money.
Energy and money. Okay.
Create a system. Sometimes we don't have systems in our entrepreneurship, in our business. We ain't created no strategy, no marketing strategy for people to want it. And sometimes, like I say, because when you say entrepreneurs, sometimes that's almost like a hobbyist who really came into business, you know what I mean? And we dragged our love into, now we trying to figure out how to make money with it. But once we cross that line, especially like I've been in the music business forever. And when we first started in the music business, yes, I made music for me. But when you start crossing that line to business and you making music for the world now, it has to sound this. It has a certain criteria that it must has if you want your music from a personal level to cross over into business. And that's why most people in the music industry don't want to talk to the artists, because they're too personally attached to it. They need someone who could talk business about, because again, this is a product. You know what I mean? Whether it's you as a product or whether it's a widget, it's all a product.
Right.
So how are we treating the product? How are we effectively marketing these products as entrepreneurs? What is the brand really? You know what I mean? Like, are we just doing it again to be safe because we scared of that work? Or, because sometimes certain ideas need their own identity. They don't need to be attached to you.
That's true. That's true.
And we got to be okay with saying, you know what? I don't care what people call it. You getting the money. You know what I mean? So
that's real, and that's what you're saying is exactly what I needed to hear tonight. So I'm really glad we had you on. Can you talk a little bit more about, because like when you said you started, not to age you, but like that was a long time ago when you started. When you started as an entrepreneur. But I'm inspired hearing that, as a young up and coming entrepreneur, that really makes me feel like, okay, like I like this somebody who really got some skin in the game. How can I step back, not be so hard on myself, and listen to your wisdom? Because I want to hear from y'all. Like, what was this? What was your younger years like in entrepreneurship? Because there's not a lot of people who do get a chance to get that experience as an entrepreneur, as a young adult, and continue throughout their later years in life. And I think I want to hear more from y'all about that.
Mike,
you want to go? Go ahead. You said y'all, so you want to hear from both of us.
Y'all old, but y'all seasoned. Y'all wise out here in these streets.
Yeah, I'll just say for myself, like I started when I was 25, and it was out of necessity to get out of corporate. I was working in a corporate job and didn't like that environment, and had no business acumen, had no education around starting a business or any of that stuff. So I'm one of those people who kind of started out of a passion for something and then had to learn the business along the way. So Devon got me beat because I didn't start till 2000. He started in 94. I had just graduated high school then. So I started a whole lot later. But
talk about how that was.
Yeah, I think part of it, because I started that way, and because like I only did a year of college, I didn't go to college to get professionally trained, anything. I was self-taught in everything I do. I think that with that seed of doubt always remains there. And even though I've done great things and I get, compliments from clients, I make the money and do all that stuff, like it creeps up sometimes. Not as much as it used to, but it still creeps up sometimes. Even around like people ask me like, okay, like, oh, what do you do? What's your title? Oh, I'll just tell them I own a marketing services firm. But I used to shy away from like, oh, I'm a CEO of, because I feel like to be a CEO of something like that comes with all these, I'm thinking I have to have a team of employees. I have to do all this stuff, but like I'm doing the stuff that a CEO has to do, but I think that seed of doubt that's based on how I started it, because I don't have the credentials per se, makes me answer that question differently.
Yeah. So, and the question again is what are my early years, or what did it look like in my early years? Nobody wanted to give no game. Nobody wanted to tell you how to do it. I was the young guy in the room that everybody was frowning on, thinking that I was gonna take something from him or something. And I remember I had to tell one of my OGs. I remember Darren D. Rest in peace, Darren D. He used to be part of 98.3, the Basement Crew. He actually was he owned a sports marketing agency called DCT, Dreams Come True, and he actually was managing about 8 Packer players. And when I met him, I'm like, I need to learn from this dude. I just want to learn from him. I just want to get up under him. And it took me a long time to actually get up under him. And it's crazy because I'm gonna tell this story because I had a connect who knew him, and I was like, yo, put me in front of him, put me in front of him. And I was hawking him for months about it. So I guess he really was asking him, because when I actually got in front of Darren for the first time, he sat me in his office, and it was crazy because I ended up buying his office after this. But he sat me in his office and he looked at me, he said, man, what the fuck you want from me?
Wow.
And I was like, I don't want nothing from you. I said, I'm gonna take the most valuable thing you could ever give me anyway. He said, what you gonna take from me? I said, that information. I need that knowledge. And he looked at me, he was like, what? And he was like, listen, brother, I ain't never had no young brother come talk to me like that. And he took me up under his wing. And it's just, I was always diligent because I was scared of what I was going back to. Again, that's what started me in business. It was two things I knew out of high school I did not want to do. And one was go to college and one was sell drugs. So again, I had to figure it out because I'm like 2 years of balling for 10 years of jail. That ain't gonna work. I hate high school, so I know I'm going to sleep in college because it's too much freedom and I'm just gonna go to sleep. So I know me, you know what I mean? So I just knew that I needed something else. And although that no one saw it, again, I went out for years and years and years. My mama didn't even support it at first. She was coming down, telling me go get a job, get out of her house, go do something. And she didn't understand what I was building. And I knew she wouldn't understand. I understood that it wasn't out of hate, or she just don't understand. My mom is not an entrepreneur. She's not a businesswoman. So I get she just don't understand. Not she don't support me, not that she don't love me. She just don't understand. So I knew that I had to just have a self-determination to say, you know what, I'm gonna go out here and find the information. And me, I'm an extremist, so it ain't nothing that's gonna stop me from getting to the information. Because again, once we got the information, now I got something you will never be able to take away from me. It's not about things. It's not about money. It's not about, showboating. No, it's about, let's break these generational beliefs before we can break a generational cycle. You know what I mean? We got to believe different. We got to know different again. And as we grew up, we heard be all you could be in the army. We heard you can do it. You can be anything you want, but we never saw nobody doing it. So again, my whole thing was, yo, let me not just be preaching to people. Let me show them at the same time. And that's why I stayed in the hood for so long. 16th to Atkinson, I'm buying Porsches and everything, because I'm really trying to show them you don't have to be a product of your environment. You're just a product in an environment. You can do anything you want. You don't have to listen to what's outside. You got to start looking more in that mirror. You know what I mean? So that's, that's what I had to do to keep me focused, keep understanding that, it was always been bigger than me. Because again, I knew that it's just like I had, with the $1.2 million recording studio in West Dallas, I always felt like, you know what, I work my way in these situations, and I'm saying, yo, I'm keeping the door open for my people. Like, yo, look what they let me in. Yo, look. And I'm trying to get this information so that we can build our companies, and we can build our, our legacies and our empires. So,
I love what you said about mindset shifts, because even thinking about my own journey, I feel like this has been like an entrepreneur therapy session for me. So I appreciate y'all. Like
business therapy.
Like for real, we need to coin that phrase, because literally I shifted my environment and moved to Arizona. But if my mindset doesn't shift, that's not getting me anywhere. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can be around these palm trees and this sunlight and excitement. And like the first few weeks, I felt absolutely amazing. And don't get me wrong, I still feel amazing. I love Arizona. I want to be here for a while. But as far as business and success goes, I had to really shift my mind and believe that I can do this. You know what I'm saying? I can really do this, and not, because if I'm hesitant about my brand and what I'm doing, the people that I'm expecting to support me are going to be hesitant to support me. And so I really love that part that you said about mindset, because it really, like, the journey to success it doesn't exist if you can't allow your mindset to grow in that process on that,
right.
on that journey.
And there's really no time limit either. A lot of times we think it's going to take 10. It's really how hard you working, how diligent are you at it? You know what I mean? How much time of the day are you really building this thing? I mean, I built companies in 2 months. I built them from 0 to 100,000 in less than half the year. You know what I mean? Like, it's just all in how we know how to maneuver. I mean, so
can you talk more about that because we were just talking about it's not always about working harder but smarter. Like, how can you use your time in a more efficient way than like being in that hustle mentality where you got to grind all the time and not sleep at all? You know, how did like you talk about that?
Are you on the no sleep school?
Well, okay. It's not about no sleep. I'm gonna say,
let's talk about this one.
No sleep school dude though, because I mean, like I say, from my career entrepreneurship, I built myself like that. So I sleep 3-4 hours a day. So that's the most. Anything more, I feel like I'm missing out on something. So, yeah, I wouldn't say don't sleep. Again, I'm just excited to do a lot of different things, and
I like that.
They sleep.
No, I like that. That's cool.
Yeah,
the excitement is that's get you up. Because I'm a 4 or 5 hour sleep person.
Today, what's gonna happen? What phone call I'm gonna get today? What opportunity? What's gonna happen? I can't wait. Again, I do more stuff by noon than people do all day. So you know, I mean, like I be excited for it. Again, I mean, I made a career of it. But again, that's why I tried to stay in the hood as long as I can, because again, I'm trying to show like, yo, I don't built millions right out the hood, and I ain't had to touch nothing. I'm showing it. I'm here. I'm accessible. You know what I mean? But again, it's gonna be my time. I won't be. So, you know, I tried to make my whole career learning things that I knew that I could put to use to save my life. You know what I mean? Because again, that's another reason I say I'm gonna go get the skills, because you can take the money as long as I got the skills, I can find some money. You know what I mean? So I built the career trying to go find the skills to be able to teach the ones who think it's impossible. You know what I mean? The ones who think that, you know what, it's gonna take me until I'm 43 too. No, I can show you how to do it. I can show you how to do it fast. Again, and that's what experience does. It helps you to be able to show people how to now do it in less time. You know what I mean? And that's really where the value is. You know what I mean? And I was taught that by a guy named y'all can look him up. His name is James Malinchak. James Malinchak is the millionaire speaker. He has a boot camp called the Millionaires Boot Camp in LA. He probably had like 2 or 3 a year. I learned that at his thing. He said, people were paying him tens and twenties of $1,000 in this room. I was the only black kid in the room. Me and my best friend. And one of the things he stuck out, he said, reason you paying me is because you paying me for speed. He like, I'm gonna show you how to get to the money fast. Go take 10 years if you want to, and you're gonna spend more money than paying me to show you how to do this quickly. Now, one thing he also says, a lot of you guys will still pay me, and 90% of y'all still ain't gonna do nothing with it.
Sure. You see that all the time with courses and all that stuff.
Yeah.
90% of y'all ain't gonna do nothing with it. Again, the excitement lasts as long as the lights are on. You know what I mean? And then as soon as everybody leave the room and the curtains close, then it's, did you just forget what we just learned? Subconscious influence. A lot of things that we think we pick and listen, it's been tricks played on us for a whole lot of years by a whole lot of rich people who learned the science of marketing and how to control people and just groups of people. Listen, it's not by accident that a lot of things are where they are in colors, and it's just not by accident. So we have to learn those skills too, so that we can position ourselves and our businesses to be able to compete in the market. So yeah, I mean, like I said, I built my career, and my early years were just like, you know what, let me soak up as much information, even if they ain't gonna give it to me, I'm gonna steal it. I'll just be around. I'll be the one in the room in the back looking at everything, taking mental notes, and and just playing the position I need to play. So again, if somebody needs help carrying boxes, I'm gonna carry the boxes. That's actually how I end up becoming friends and getting introduced to Eric Thomas. Eric Thomas says every morning I wake up at 3 a.m. right? 3 a.m. If you look at all his videos, 3 a.m. my passion wakes me up. So when I went to one of his conferences, I woke up at 3 a.m. I go in the gym. Guess who's there? Eric Thomas. You know what I'm saying?
It was real, huh?
It was real. He there. You know what I'm saying? Him and his whole crew in there in the gym, 3 a.m. You know what I'm saying? Getting it in. You know what I mean? And if it wasn't for me coming out my hotel room and going in and just being it again, I don't need to sleep.
Wow. Did you always have such a level of like you speak of having clarity at an earlier age that like I feel like I'm just approaching at 47. But it seemed like you were very clear on like what needed to be done, who you needed to meet in order to get it done. So like where did that come from and how did you get that at such an early age?
Ooh, I just tried to do the opposite what everybody else was doing.
Okay.
If nobody wanted to learn, I wanted to go learn. If people were scared of white people, I'm going to the white people. You know what I mean? Like I had to not do what everybody else was telling me to do. You know what I mean? I knew, and then once you get in the rooms, like you say, you know what work needs to be done because you see people doing it. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, that's what it takes right there. That's it. So now I got to get again, and that's why I say, you know, sometimes me and my fiance was just talking about this. Sometimes that we be trying to save people and they ain't trying to save themselves.
I want to talk about that so much, but I'm not gonna take it.
We need to on more. Now we got to figure out either if we can get you once a month on the Talking Up Tuesday or join us every Tuesday because Tuesday. We need this energy on the Tuesday call for sure.
That's a real one right there, though. I don't know if I want to say I wasted a lot of time, but I spent a lot of time trying to help people who weren't ready to be helped. You know, and you feel like, oh, but I wanna show you what I know and teach you what I learned, and it just drags you down. You know,
it do. You waiting on they light bulb,
and it's hard to detach yourself.
Yeah. Protect your peace, man. Like I say, man, people that are ready will show themselves approved. You know what I mean? True. So, you know, again, they always say, again, I learned this at the Millionaires Boot Camp. He would say, make people jump through hoops. Make them. Yeah. Don't try to ease them and not make them jump through the hoops because the ones that jump through the hoops are the ones that really want to be there. That's the things we make too easy and free and all that, then they don't have no value based upon it. Make them jump through the hoops. Yep, man, I need you to fill out this survey before we get started because I need to see where you at. I need to have some I got to do a survey. You ain't my client.
Yeah. We talked about that when we were developing the content coach. We've been doing these webinars on Sunday, and you know, people are like, "Oh, can we get the recording? Can we get this?" I'm like, "You got to become a member." Mm-hmm. You know, it's like we can't make it too simple because the people who we're concerned about the time. Oh, what if it's not a time that everybody can make it? Well, those who want to be there and want the information will get there. Happen. You know, definitely. So that's a good lesson right there. That's true.
Absolutely. So dope, man. Thank y'all for having me. I really appreciate it.
Of course. I'm glad you're here. We got a message, a comment. I know, Mikkel, you've been sharing all kind of stuff up here, so now we see your face up here. The ones that jump through the hoops want to be in the room. Facts. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I know y'all be having some fire conversations.
I already know.
That's his fiance, by the way. If you wonder what we're talking about.
Yes, we do.
I can just imagine.
Yes.
Dynamic duo.
Yes. Yeah. Fire.
I love it. So we're going to hit you up and we're going to bother you and see if you could join us on a consistent basis because it just offers us another perspective as well. Like Mike and I get on here on Tuesdays and we at first it was like, okay, we're going to have this structured space where we invite entrepreneurs to share their business, but nobody was taking the opportunity to promote their business. So we just don't get on here and talk it up on Tuesday. You know what I'm saying? That's the name of the show. And we get on here and we just share our perspective. 9 times out of 10, we don't had a long, exhausting day as an entrepreneur. So we just kind of get on here and vent and talk about it. That's the space we created.
That's been working.
And we would love to have you a part of the conversation.
Dope. I definitely, if I'm available, I would definitely hop on. And like I said, we can have some actually structured times as well that we know that will be here. And I would definitely love to, chime in how I can.
Can you tell everybody about your morning show too before we close out?
Yes, the Early Bird Morning Show. Again, the morning show that I created really as a self-affirmation for me because I knew I had some things to work on in my life. Created a live around it about 4 years ago. Each and every morning, 6 a.m., getting up before we go out into the crazy world, just making sure that we hone in and know who we are, understanding that we need to have a clear picture of what our future looks like. Again, we can't, I would say, the dream is just a preview of what could be real in our life. And we got to understand that each and every day we get to wake is a day to make that dream real. So my morning show is dedicated, for mindset and motivation to kind of, get our day started before we start, going all the social media and all this other stuff. Before we start diving in, let's make sure that, we are in control of our energy. We are clear about what our direction is. We clear about, you know, the things that we got to delete out of our life, because there's some tough conversations we have on the show. Again, about, your A1 day one probably ain't supposed to be here, bro. You know what I'm saying? Your A1 day one is dragging you down. You keep trying to appease these imaginary obligations. You keep playing with these little hood riddles. You know what I'm saying? And it's keeping you down. And so we had these several serious conversations on the show. Like I said, it started off as a self-affirmation show, and it has grown now on the radio, Hot 105.7, each and every morning, 6 a.m., Monday through Friday. And we have viewers all over the world who chime in each and every morning. And man, we have some deep conversation. Again, like I say, before we talk about money and everything else, let's talk about people, being good people and who we are genuinely. And, let's dive on the inside, even some things that we know we need to look at ourselves, some of the procrastination, some of the, last week we talked about being a man or a woman of your word, and not really being a man or woman of your word, because you usually do it for everybody else. But what about being a man and a woman of your word to yourself? And told yourself that you was going to do these things. You told yourself that, we were supposed to be in certain places at a certain period of our life. And sometimes it's easily to put ourselves on the back burner and just, be willy-nilly with our business because we feel like, I'll get to it, it's mine.
Yeah.
And not giving ourselves that seriousness, that sense of urgency, because again, this is what's going to build our legacies for us, ours, and others, our children, us and our friends, and anybody else who's looking for us as an example. So this show is built around just, let's dive into that. Let's make sure that, we just ain't just thinking that, we got it all together, and, we got a lot of things that we need to work on too. And that's why sometimes some of these things that we trying to build ain't working. You know what I mean? So it's just, the show it's been going on for 4 years straight. It's on every platform. It's on YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, and also 3 groups on Facebook. It's streaming on all of those platforms all at the same time every morning, 6 o'clock in the morning. Now that I'm back from my birthday cake.
We found out we were just we were ocean across from each other.
Yeah, we were ocean across from each other. It was beautiful.
Man, it was the best thing ever.
I'm trying to get back.
Yeah.
So yeah, each and every morning, 6 o'clock in the morning, chime in. Like I say, you see, the wife put it right there.
More morning show. Yeah.
Good job, baby. Good job.
My calendar right now, so I can remember to tune in every morning.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yes, 6 a.m. Tune in. We have great conversations, and come on live and chime in as well. Remember, this is all the community. As I say on my show, I'm not here to be famous. I'm here to be effective. And to be effective, all of our seeds need to grow, be great, and provide fruit on this planet. You know what I mean? But somebody got to bring the fertilizer. Somebody got to bring the water. Somebody bring the sunshine. It's a community garden. You know what I mean? So come on, chime in. Come on live. Talk to me as well. Again, because I don't know it all.
We appreciate you joining us tonight.
Thanks for
sharing some insight.
Thank you guys again, and tell Carmen I said hello.
See Rich, you got you. Cool.
Awesome.
I love it, teamwork.
Sorry,
all right, everybody.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you're welcome to our audience for us giving y'all this special edition, extra long episode. We had some great guests on today. And make sure y'all tune in every Tuesday. If you don't take the opportunity to promote your brand on Tuesday, we're going to get on here and talk it up like we always do. So anything to add, Mike?
No, we're good. We'll see y'all next week, Tuesday. You never know who's going to pop up on the show, so make sure you continue to tune in. We're live at 4:30 Mountain Standard Time, which is 5:30 Central, typically for about 30 minutes or so. We'll be right back here. So we'll see you next week on Tuesday for Talking Up Tuesday.
World is watching.
All right,
everyone.